Uh-oh.
Okay, we'll start with this. What is fast becoming the most popular segment here on the channel, Ring IQ Hate Mail.
A guy who goes by the name Jose Garcia didn't like my previous segment about Virgil, Ortiz, all that stuff about him and Boots supposedly coming to some kind of an agreement.
He said, so I guess they just drew up a contract without Golden Boy and Boots signed, and when the time comes they expect Virgil to sign in January, a contract that Virgil knows nothing about. Didn't you say that's not how you get a fight done when Virgil sent the contract to Xander?
Yeah, and I said that about this fight too. You must have deliberately missed it.
You just don't demand and expect the opponent to fight, negotiating like that. Double standards.
Double stupid. Because in the same video where he left this comment, I said that I don't actually expect Boots and Virgil to fight early next year, not based on what Eddie Hearn said. But he continued,
Man, you have a unique imagination and deflection tactic when facing someone calling you out for the double standards. The best you've got is, you're mad.
Why are you mad?
I think you are mad because I already pointed out that I don't expect Boots and Virgil to fight next year, not just based on what Eddie Hearn said, and you completely ignored that.
The double standard is where you talk crazy about Virgil for trying to make the fight with Xander, but yet Eddie is running the same play on steroids, but you still mention it like it's a legit thing.
No, Boxing Scene mentioned it, and I read the article, you fucking idiot.
Like there's really a contract for Boots to fight Virgil, and like Boots really signed, Eddie couldn't even stop stuttering when asked if Virgil was aware of this. But I know, I'm just a casual, and I don't know shit about boxing, and I'm the mad one at that.
No, you're just stupid, because I already pointed out that both Virgil's father and Rick Mirrigan deny what Eddie Hearn said. In this same video, you left all these comments under. I pointed all that out. So I get the impression
you just wanted to argue about Xander. You were using this as a segue to argue about Xander.
Since you couldn't argue about Boots anymore.
So let's talk about Xander. That's who you really want to talk about. That's who you're really here for. You're still angry that I said Virgil's offer was fake. That's not how you get a fight done. He's not the A-side over Xander.
Let's talk about it, you little bitch.
Punk bitch. Here you have a guy in Virgil Ortiz, who's damn near 30 years old, didn't fight for a full title at 147, didn't fight for one at 154, a year after becoming interim champion, who thinks he can assert A-side status over Xander Zayas, who is comparatively younger at 22 and already has his belt.
What the hell is taking you so long?
What exactly entitles you to half the pot and you get to choose the location?
See that shit? You see that shit right there? That's why you're damn near 30 with no belt.
Even worse, that Xander didn't close off communications right away. When they sent him that email, he told them he wants it in Puerto Rico. And you know what they did after that?
They announced the Lubin fight.
Because that's who they were always gonna fight. And that offer to Xander was to fool idiots like you into thinking they were serious. How could you be serious giving him a 3-day deadline that only offers half the pot and they choose the location when he's the champion?
What are you, retarded or something? You think a fight like that is gonna get negotiated in 3 days? When Xander tried to make it a negotiation, they announced another fight because they weren't serious. And you're too fucking stupid to see that.
You're too fucking stupid to see that. Virgil had the same opportunity to put pressure on Sebastian that Xander did. The difference is Xander put pressure on him. That's why he's got a belt. Virgil didn't do a goddamn thing.
That's why he ain't got nothing.
And I don't know where you get that he's supposed to be the A-side over Xander Zayas. Virgil's not Canelo, you know.
I mean, you must think he's the A-side if you think it's okay for him to dictate terms to the champion. What do you bring to the table, Virgil? What have you got? Perhaps if you would have pressured Sebastian at any point in the last 12 months, you'd have a belt. So this could be a 50-50 negotiation. But it's not. You're a voluntary.
That's what you would be. You're the one that needs the shot, not Xander.
And that's why you're fighting Lubin and not Xander.
So there was another guy who goes by the name Sean P887 who said, Jose, he's like Tank in the way he selects his opponents for his audience while avoiding legitimate threats to his grift.
Avoiding legitimate threats, he says. I go live about 4 times a week and post links in the comment section that anybody can click on, that anybody can join, including Sean P. and Jose.
And I'm planning on going live this weekend for the Nunez versus Diaz fight. But how much do you want to make a bet that Sean P's not going to click on the link when I post it? Or Jose? These two pussies rather play freeze tag in the comment section looking for brownie points. They don't want to have this conversation in real time when I can make each one of these points in real time. All of those awkward pauses and awkward silence.
You think this is my first rodeo? I've been dealing with idiots like you for years that hide in the comment section because you don't want to have this conversation in real time.
You think this is the first time Sean P left a comment on this channel? This guy's here all the time, but he never clicks the link.
And it's the same with Jose, who's being deliberately obtuse because he doesn't like my take on Virgil and Xander.
It was never about Boots, and it was never about Eddie. It was about Xander.
Why are you mad?
So, like, what the hell is Virgil? The super senior of the junior middleweight division? Because the guy's damn near 30. He ain't sniffed at a title yet.
Was he like the stupid kid that got held back 3 times? He's got 5 o'clock shadow in high school?
What is he, Jose? Is he your neighbor? Is he from your shitty little town in your shitty little state, and that's why you want to argue with me?
Suck my dick.
Punk-ass bitch. You won't click the link. You're just gonna hide in the comments, because you and I both know you're a social reject.
Hermit.
Pussy. You're on this channel enough, you could have clicked that link at any time this past week or any week before that to have this conversation in real time. You don't want to.
Same way Virgil doesn't really want to fight for a title, you don't really want to talk to me.
And the same applies to Sean P. Who's supposed to be a threat, Sean? Who's supposed to be a legitimate threat? You?
Don't make me laugh.
I'm a cherry picker, he says. Okay, Sean, I cherry pick you. Like Ash Ketchum and Pikachu, I choose you!
Don't make me laugh.
You can join the panel at any time, Sean, and we can talk about whatever you want. Whatever it is, I'm gonna roast you in real time. We're all gonna laugh about it, and I'm gonna make some money, is what I'm gonna do. You're supposed to be some kind of a threat?
Don't make me laugh.
In other men's junior middleweight news, reigning WBC champion Sebastian Fundora says it's time for a change. I can be the face of boxing. Sebastian's fight with Keith Thurman will headline an October 25th PBC on Prime pay-per-view event, but represents more than just a premium main event. It is a true crossroads fight, as Fundora's career is on the rise, while Thurman, even with just one career defeat, is believed to be on his last hurrah. Keith was a former champion, one of the pound-for-pounds back then, but it's time for a change in the sport, Fundora said during their kickoff press conference Wednesday at the Mayan in LA, California. I think I can be the face for it. I'm just excited for all of this, and I can't wait to return to the ring on October 25th. The two will meet at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Vegas, the 4th straight fight in town for Fundora. Fundora fought just once in 2023 and 2024, with 2 fights apiece in 2021 and 2022. The rate of activity he's enjoyed this year is more in line with what he and his team prefer. That's how boxing should be done, noted Fundora. That's what the fans want to see. They want to see their favorite fighters fight. Well, if you want to be the face of boxing, you have to fight, and you have to fight regularly, like Canelo does, like Inoue does.
Sebastian continued, I'm glad that I have a team that puts me out there constantly. They work with me. They work with my schedule. I said at the end of last year, I told my father, head trainer Freddie Fundora, that I want to fight at least 2 times this year. He said 3 if we can. They gave us the 3 fights. If we're asking, they're giving, and I'm grateful.
So if he's wanted to fight more often, why did he only fight once a year the last 2 years before this one?
Well, the opponents were there, so it's not based on the opponents. I think it's because they didn't have the money. They likely prioritized other fights involving other fighters, like David Benavidez's fights or Gervonta Davis's fights, but you notice that now that both of those boxers are boxing off-platform, Sebastian's more active. They got him 3 fights.
Whatever money they were going to spend on them, they can now spend on him. Fundora opened up this year with a 4th-round knockout of Cordell Booker in March at the Michelob Ultra Arena in Vegas. He then produced his most complete performance to date in a 7th-round stoppage of Tim Tszyu in their July 19th rematch at the MGM Grand. The impressive run trails his lone career defeat, a stunning 7th-round knockout to Brian Mendoza in April of 2023, 2 years ago. Fundora was well ahead through 6 rounds before he was put on the deck and counted out in one of the year's biggest upsets. More than 2 years later, Fundora has not only stormed all the way back up, but is now poised to become the class of the junior middleweight division. We'll see about that. I have my own theories as to what is next for Sebastian beyond the Keith Thurman fight.
It goes to show how far I've come along, noted Fundora. I'm here headlining as the A-side. I headlined a pay-per-view before against Tim, but I was the B-side. It just shows that I continue to do the right thing. I'm gonna keep doing my job and keep winning. I'm 27 years old, a full-grown man. There's no more excuses. We're in a different position now. I was learning earlier in my career. We were taking pretty tough fights, learning on the job. Now we're getting there. We're at the top where everyone's tough. We learned along the way, and we're very happy to be headlining this card. For what it's worth, I really like Sebastian. As a person, let's say. I like his sister, too.
As a person and a fighter, I admire their father, who's raised not 1, but 2 world champions. That's really something. I like the family.
But as far as Sebastian, aspiring to become the face of boxing, I don't know that he has the ability to do that. Becoming the face of boxing is not an exact science. It's not a one-size-fits-all formula that everyone can apply. It really is unique to the individual, the fighter, and the audience at the time.
What may have worked for a Floyd Mayweather may be something entirely alien to a Canelo Alvarez. The audiences that they may be commanding for different reasons. The only common denominator between guys that went on to become the face of the sport is they all had a lot of ability. More than I think Sebastian has.
They all had high ceilings. I mean, who are you talking about? What, Sugar Ray Leonard, guys like Oscar De La Hoya, Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather, Canelo Alvarez. These are guys who've shown very high ceilings over time. A higher ceiling than I think Sebastian has. So that alone is an impediment.
Talk about the Thurman fight.
If Keith Thurman really goes through with this fight, I expect Sebastian to beat him. I expect Sebastian to retire him. And after that, I do not expect Sebastian to stick around. Not at 154. I don't think he's going to unify titles with Xander, and I don't think he's going to fight Virgil. I think he's going to move up after that.
I think he's going to vacate the WBC title. I think between Samson Lukowicz and Golden Boy Promotions, they made an agreement amongst themselves, behind closed doors, that Virgil won't bother Sebastian.
And when the time comes, Sebastian will move up, vacate his belt, at which point it will go to Virgil.
He'll become an email champion.
And Sebastian will move up into the middleweight division, where he will likely challenge Erislandy Lara, reigning WBA middleweight champion, who is not otherwise preoccupied right now.
And he's right there on the PBC side of things if the PBC is still even a thing next year.
And that is the trajectory, that is the path I think Sebastian is on for the next 12 months. Will that be enough to make him the face of boxing? Sounds like a long shot. Though I don't begrudge him his ambition, and I welcome the idea of him moving up to the middleweight division, believe it or not. That is a division that so sorely needs a shot in the arm. Fresh faces and fresh new blood.
All those kids that are at 154 right now, Virgil, Xander, the lot of them, they're gonna end up at middleweight. And when they do, Sebastian will get his shot at the big time so long as he's willing to fight the fights. But there is fighting the fights and winning the fights.
Tell me, how many of those fights do you think Sebastian can win? over to the men's super middleweight division, where we are little more than a week out from the biggest fight of the year, arguably the biggest fight of the year, Terence Crawford's ascent to the super middleweight division, putting all his newfound muscle on display. It would seem that the past calendar year, while he wasn't fighting, he was building himself up for this move to 168.
Putting on the pounds, putting on the muscle, I should say.
And it's exciting. I'm excited because I think that Terence, unlike a lot of other fighters, is taking this fight on for the right reasons. It's not just the financial incentive. This guy really believes he can win, even if I don't.
I believe he's going to try, and that's exciting. Though him posting his physique,
it is eliciting different reactions, different responses from a lot of people. I take it as anecdotal. The amount of muscle that he's put on, it doesn't really tell us what we want to know. And I remember Jermell Charlo, when he made the exact same move that Terence is making. He posted his physique ahead of the fight. He looked big. He looked strong. He packed on the muscle. Granted that he's not the same caliber of fighter as Terence, but I'm just saying, I've read this book before.
something similar.
It doesn't alter my perspective, my prediction, because no matter what, you are attempting to acclimate to a division where Canelo has already been acclimated for the last 5 or 6 years, in the hope that you can add more authority to your punch by putting on weight, you can take more damage
By putting on more muscle.
all of which are intangibles for Terence. We don't know that any of this is going to work, whereas with Canelo, there are less intangibles. We already know what he can endure, what he can take at super middleweight, because he's been there the whole time. You are attempting to adapt to what he has already adapted to, what he's used to. Could just be another night at the office for the two-time undisputed champion.
You have to admire Terence's confidence, though. I don't hate him for it. This fight is not, to me, what it is for a lot of other Canelo Alvarez fans.
And it's not for me what it is for a lot of other Terence Crawford fans, because I'm a fan of both. So I don't have a rooting interest in one fighter over the other. I'm just going with logic. That logic dictates Canelo should win because he's more experienced than Terence.
He literally has more fights, more rounds in the bank against a better caliber of fighter, better quality of competition than Terence has fought.
Listen, we've been all through it. All of the red flags, all of the factors that are working against Terence Crawford, and that's what shapes my perspective. It's not even having a rooting interest in Canelo, it's just that this is too much of an uphill battle. There's too much working against Terence here to ignore. If he can pull it off, great.
Good for him. It would go against logic. It would have to. And that's why I can't pick him. And him putting on a bit of muscle for this fight?
I just hope that he can make a fight of it. My biggest hope for this engagement is that no matter who wins, it's entertaining, it's memorable, because it's on a very big platform, and it could be a fantastic advertisement for boxing in this country, irrespective of who wins. So long as it's entertaining,
I'm happy either way.